All right, and we are live.
Live.
Yep.
Welcome to the AceJimL8 podcast. I am Ace.
And
I'm the weird one.
I'm Jim, and I'm the one that for some reason people come to us to see.
Yep, even though he stutters.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
Go home, folks.
I want to start on a full rant about Porky Pig, but no. Yeah, so funny thing about me, some people probably been wondering where I'm at, because I think we got a few viewers from Discord, don't we?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, funny thing about me, I've technically gone on the detox.
Yeah. No more drugs for him.
No more drugs for me. And by drugs, I mean electronic drugs. And by electronic drugs, I mean drugs. I mean, like, I'm not going to lie. Have you ever actually, you probably never actually been, well, obviously you haven't been through it, but I feel like there is a part of me now that before, when I would do anything, I felt like my ability to focus was downsized.
All over the place.
No, like, it's like a constant state. While I'm on the computer, while I'm on social media, I feel like my brain is in like a defocused mode.
Yeah.
And not unfocused, but like defocused. It's actively going out of its way to avoid focusing.
Yeah, I can feel that sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Right, but now that I'm no longer in that world of, just digital, I've essentially just blocked myself from all social media with the exception of Discord for one person.
Guess who?
And, yeah, guess who. And pretty much everything else I've deleted. I deleted YouTube, I deleted Twitch, I deleted all of my video games, everything from my computers and my phone. Zero distractions, and my word, do I feel time feel accelerated.
His computer has basically become a giant doorstop.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I feel like time itself has slowed down. My very first day of doing this, I decided, okay, finally, I have enough time to do all the things I wanted to do. So, first thing I do, I wake up in the morning, I see it's 6:30. I say, oh shoot, it's 6:30. I'm going to go back to bed because it's way too early for me. Wake up a half hour later. I go to church because I'm Catholic, and Catholics go to this thing called confession.
Okay.
And there, oh boy. Well, actually, I'm recently converted Catholic, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
Anyways, I go to a church to confess because you got to confess your sins once a week.
Yeah.
And I meet someone there that I had not seen in over a year, which is funny because I never met him at that place before.
Really?
There's a multitude of churches doing multiple things. And the funny thing is, I meet this guy that I had met over a year ago.
OBS, not now.
And I'm just thinking, well, that's a bomb drop and a half if I ever heard one.
Yeah, seriously. He's going to get married in a week and divorced in 2.
Right, and then I'm just thinking, how do I respond to that?
Yeah, how do you respond to that? I'm getting married. Good for you.
Good job, buddy. I'm
not.
I'm giving up on technology. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Even though I've only been doing it for a day.
Yeah. And look, we'll be happier in the end.
Yep, and somehow I was able to drag that whole conversation out for about a half hour.
That's one heck. And then you had to actually go to. And then you actually had to go to confession.
Mm-hmm. And then I get to the end of the line for confession because there's a line, and what should happen to me? But the confessions are over when I finally get to the end of the line, and I'm the last person there.
Dang, nabbit.
Well, goody. And then I have to go to the other confession booth. So I go to the other side of the church. Mass has already started, which is that's essentially their church.
Yes,
that's how they call church.
Yes.
Mass has started. And here I am just sitting there. I'm not quite sure what to do because half of me wants to just sit down because I'm not actually technically attending this mass because I'm going to a confession. And the other half of me is just saying, please just hurry up so I can get into the confession booth.
Just let me go home.
So I decide to stand up and I decide to participate in the mass.
Okay.
I finally go into the confession booth. I confess all the things that I did. I apparently am one of the very first people to, well, probably not one of the first, but definitely not used to it. I asked to have my face seen because when I go to confession, I prefer to have my face be seen so as to create an air of humiliation for myself.
You did
because
always
I feel that
kink.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because you always had that sort of weird kink. Must humiliate self.
It's not a kink. It's more like I feel like confessing what I do wrong is not going to change if I don't feel like there are consequences for the actions.
Does that mean the priest has to reveal his face, or is that an optional thing?
Well, they reveal their face as well.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's similar to talking to someone online versus talking to someone IRL.
Well, yeah.
And technically speaking, I would show my face off if my computer had a camera. But my computer does not have a camera.
Well, I would show my face off, but I feel like that would just be unfair if I was doing in the face cam and you weren't.
Right, and you already show your face to the public, but my computer does not.
Yeah, don't worry. I've already gotten all my I already got all my citations for indecent exposure. What?
Mm-hmm. Random side note: did you know that it's actually legal in some states to drive without wearing clothes?
Why do you know this?
You don't want to know why I know all these random facts.
We would do great on Jeopardy and terrible at literally anything else because Jeopardy is nothing but random facts.
Yeah, I probably would do good at Jeopardy. Oh, wait, but Alex Trebek isn't on there anymore. I don't want to do it.
Anyway.
So after I do that, I go to the gym, the YMCA. I decide to work out. It turns out on my way there, apparently there's a Jimmy John's on the way near my house that I had literally never seen before in my entire life.
Is that like a restaurant or something?
Jimmy John's, yeah, it's a restaurant. It's basically a sandwich place. It's a very common thing we have here in Wisconsin. And I'm just thinking to myself, how did I never see this before? I've lived here for over a year.
You never asked.
I think I just never been focused enough to even look at it.
Probably. I mean, that's probably an equation.
It's like it's right there next to the McDonald's, and I'm like, I know that McDonald's. I see it every time I come home from work. How did I never see the Jimmy John's before?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very funny. So anyway, I go to the Y, I work out. I head over to the store because I need food.
Yeah.
Because all my food in the refrigerator is probably rotten by this point.
Probably.
I go to Costco. You know Costco, right?
I know Costco.
Everyone knows Costco. Costco is a great place to go if you haven't gone there before. Basically, you buy food in the bulk instead of the bundle. I'm just constantly trying to avoid looking directly into the eyes of the M&M containers.
Because once you stare at the abyss won't stare back.
Yep. I'm pushing the shopping cart, trying very hard not to make eye contact. I'm going to go for a little bit of a low carb sort of thing. Pretty much low carb means no carb for me.
Yeah.
So even the protein shakes that are 1 gram of carbs, I'm like, I ain't going to touch it. Technically, I probably should have been able to, I probably should have been a little bit more lenient with myself, but that's a thing for another time. I get to the front. They tell me that my account has expired on that day.
Of course.
And I tell the guy, wait, I thought it was a year long. Have I really been out of this place for over a year? And then he doesn't even answer me because I don't think he knows English. He just knows he knows how to speak it. He doesn't know how to listen.
Of course.
Because I don't know. He's like some sort of I don't know. He's definitely not a native at this place. Because it talk like this, buddy. Your account expired yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, I go to the food court. I order myself a big old slice of pizza because you ever been to the Costco food court? They have great pizza.
I imagine so. So much for the low-carb diet.
So much for the low carb diet. I say, you know what? I'll start this tomorrow. All right. All right. I'm just giving one last hurrah to myself because I love pizza, right?
Yeah.
And Costco pizza is worth dying for. Am I right?
Makes sense to me.
Okay, maybe not dying for, but it's really, really good.
Hmm.
So anyway, after I ate my pizza for lunch, technically lunch, I decided to go home. I clean up my refrigerator, put all my stuff aside. I go in and clean up my pantry because I got a bunch of stuff in my pantry. I take all of the water bottles that are in my apartment.
Yeah.
If you're a normal guy, you know what it's like to have water bottles all over your apartment, right?
Yes, I know what you mean. I don't even have an apartment. I know what you mean.
Yep, water bottles are just everywhere.
So 90% of the house.
So I finally dust my hands off, give myself a little pat on the back. I said, "Good work."
It's
Yeah.
12:30.
It was 11:30.
Oh God, that's worse than I was expecting. That's a freaking Dave Chappelle skit ending.
Yep, I was. I look at the clock. It's 11:30. And I just think to myself, "Fuck."
Yeah, that sounds like a fuck moment. Oh God. I knew the first day was going to be the hardest.
I'm going to go ahead and. Oh, the first day was hard. It hasn't gotten any easier, man. It hasn't gotten.
Well,
any
no,
easier.
but the first day is always the hardest.
True.
But anyway.
Even though it hasn't gotten any easier, so that means every day is the hardest.
Well, anyway, let's just move forward.
Moving on.
Next scene.
Moving on. I decide to give a good old call.
Good old what?
I decide to give a good old call to my Saiyan grandfather.
Oh, good. And he told you to go one step beyond.
Because I am bored out of my mind at this point, and it's not even noon. He decides not to answer, and I think, fuck again.
He's too busy saving the world from some evil attack. He's probably on Namek or something.
I swear that man could break a boulder with his finger.
Oh my God! You could you could grind meat on it. Ah!
Yeah. So anyway, I call my grandmother, who he's kind of annoyed with all the time.
And you have to find out why.
Yeah. So the reason he's always annoyed with her is she is a little bit like Joe Biden.
Oh God, no.
In that she can't remember anything.
That she can't what?
She can't remember anything.
Oh boy. But is she a doctor?
She was.
Oh, okay, then never mind then. She is Joe.
She retired.
Oh, that's weird. My mom was a doctor. Anyway.
Technically she was a nurse, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Well, or behind yourself.
Anyway. I ask her what they're doing and if I can just come over and visit because I'm bored out of my mind. She tells me she's going to see off my mom and my brothers who are leaving on vacation.
What?
I didn't even know that they were going on vacation.
There was a legitimate moment of, wait, what?
I go down to their house now because I'm informed that my grandparents are going over there.
Yeah, and you're bored anyway, so screw it, why not?
Yeah, I'm bored anyway, so screw it. I head down there. They ask me what I'm doing there. I thought they were coming over here. She tells me, my mom tells me that they weren't coming over there.
What?
For like 3 hours.
What? So they aren't going on vacation, or they aren't yet?
I had forgotten. Rule with my grandmother. See, I had forgotten rule 1 with my grandmother. Always ask grandfather if she knows what she's talking about.
Oh, I thought this was gonna be like rule 1 of grandmother. They always take an extra 3 hours to do anything. Well, you couldn't get into contact with your grandfather though.
Nope. Uh-huh. The funny thing is, he was actually just not answering his phone because he didn't have it on him.
Oh. Well, that's allowed then.
So anyway, I find out that the reason they planned on going over there was because my mom wanted to drop off her car at the airport and have one of them drive it back to her house so she could get a rental car because they were going to drive out to where they were going to go.
Okay.
Makes sense to me, right? You go to the airport to get a rental car so you can drive instead of fly to the place you got to go.
Why not just keep your car at that point? Why you gotta buy a rental?
Yeah.
Do you just like throwing money away?
Technically speaking, it is a little bit cheaper because they plan on flying back.
I mean, okay, whatever. Why not go? Then why not fly that? Frigate.
I mean, like if you're gonna. I don't know. I genuinely. You teleport her house.
Yeah, teleport.
Yeah, I basically so she basically says, "What? Then you can drive my truck back to to my." I'm like, so wait, how am I going to get to the grandparents' case?
Fly. Take the airplane.
And so then, my grandfather was actually on the phone at the time of listening to this, and so he comes up with the suggestion. Because he's a funny guy. He says, "I got it. Both cars here. You rent out 2 cars. You bring them back to her house. Then you get an Uber."
This might just be stupid enough to get us out.
Because I was bored.
Humans manage to do anything ever.
By trying very hard.
I am convinced that if the dinosaurs had not died out before the humans showed up, the human race would have lasted about 0.8 seconds.
Well, obviously I don't believe that the dinosaurs even existed technically.
Well, okay, fine, woolly mammoths or something, I don't know.
Okay, let me just give you a quick synopsis on this, because, I'm not even done with my story, but basically, I believe that dinosaurs were just larger versions of animals that exist today, because, the skeletal structures, they, line up perfectly like a chicken.
The T-Rex being the chicken is the most disappointing thing of all time, but that's another thing entirely.
What if the T-Rex was literally just a giant bird?
The idea of the T-Rex being the big red chicken from Dora the Explorer is something that could only kill my faith in humanity. Stop making the cool things lame, damn it!
Well, if you want cool stuff, we can get to that later. But anyways,
let's continue your story.
Finally, after all of that, I finally dropped my mom off at the airport, and I decide to finally head back. Things are finally looking our way.
It's 12 o'clock.
No, 3 o'clock. But at least that thing actually took some time up.
Yeah, that ate some time. It's about 3/4 of the way through a day. Oh no.
But then
you got into a car accident.
Then the stuff happens.
Then the what stuff happens?
Then the funny stuff happens.
Oh no.
After I had dropped her car off back at her home, I get a text from her.
Uh-oh.
Saying that she might need a ride back.
What?
See, a funny thing happened at the airport that you're aware of.
Oh no.
See, that guy making the reservations didn't exactly put her name down.
What?
Yeah.
But they happily took her money.
Mm-hmm. They kind of put the name on the wrong car. Oopsie daisy.
No refunds, though. They made sure of that. That was the first thing they did.
Yeah, that's the first thing they do, really, all the time. I kid you not. They literally do that all the time. It drives me nuts. So, I'm just sitting there twiddling my thumbs. Technically speaking, by this point, I haven't actually eaten yet.
What about the pizza?
The pizza was 5 hours prior to this.
Oh, wow. Okay, fair then. Go on.
So my grandfather, he ordered Olive Garden.
Oh boy, you could be in the Sonic movie.
Yeah, the same stuff from the Sonic movie. Yeah, right.
That's all I can think of when I hear
So,
Olive Garden.
yep, and you will never unhear it.
Nope. Anyway.
So anyway, basically he decides we should not eat until we get confirmation as to whether or not she is going to make it out of this. So I am just left there starving to death as I stare at Italian food.
It's fate worse than death.
Yep, I stare helplessly at Italian food that is gradually getting colder and colder.
And thus the Last Supper happened. The Last Supper, if it happened in modern day, just be everyone staring at Olive Garden.
So, I die.
You got better.
And I got better. Eventually, she finally gets back to us. And she was fine.
She was fine. Did she get to go or no?
She got to go.
That's good.
She's currently on her vacation right now.
She's currently on vacation right now. Didn't she have to take her kids?
She did. She brought her kids.
All right, good.
My oldest brother almost didn't want to go, even though he's younger than me. Yeah, my oldest brother almost did not want to go because I'm not entirely sure why, but he almost didn't want to go.
Kids usually don't want to go on vacation and leave people they know behind.
The only person they'd be leaving behind is my stepdad.
Ironic.
Why is that? Right, because usually it's the dad that leaves everyone else behind.
Yes, that's what I was going for. Let's go with that.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I spent the rest of the day just trying to compensate and cope with the inevitability that at some point I would have to leave and be back into the state of boredom. So I spent about 2 to 3 hours there. I went back home and I just started reading my eyeballs out.
Wait, but then it should have been like 6:30 or 7 maybe.
It was, but I still had about 3 hours worth of consciousness left in my body.
Go to bed.
At 6 p.m.?
I mean, you can't say you didn't get a good night's sleep.
My body works on a clock.
No,
it's 10 or nothing.
Fine, keep going.
Well, yeah. So basically, I just read the rest of the night, and that was it.
And that's how I met your mother. What?
Yeah, there's no like big, massive conclusion to the story, but still.
And that was my first day.
And that was day one.
I titled this freaking stream the wrong thing. I should have named it Ace's Road to Recovery minus the technology. Or something like that. What book did you read?
What'd you name it?
Ace read a book and tells us about it.
So the book is... Okay, first of all, a little bit of context. It is a book of the Bible that up until the point of knowing that it exists, I did not know it existed. So, like, up until the point I read it, I didn't even know it existed beforehand.
Which, as I pointed out, sounds like the beginning of a creepypasta, like on a thumbnail, like, I read a part of the Bible that no one knew existed. I wish I hadn't.
More like just me that didn't know it existed because a lot of people knew it before me. But effectively, there are a lot of different denominations of Christianity. A lot of them have taken 7... Sorry, I interrupted.
There's a bunch of...
So anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 7 of the books I didn't even know existed beforehand, technically.
7 books in hand.
And so it's more like DLC for the Bible.
Damn, I wish I got the day one patch.
It's kind of strange if you think about it. The Bible has DLC.
Damn, I didn't get those day one perks. I could have gotten Jesus in a bikini.
And one of the books I read was Maccabees 1.
Okay.
My word, is that book dark.
As in, you can't see what's going on.
I don't think I can hear you because I'm not seeing your microphone.
It's dark as in, you can't see what's going on.
Yeah, dark like that definitely doesn't involve the murder and slaughter and hanging of multiple children.
This is terrible DLC. Where's my Jesus in a bikini?
No, stop, no, bad, stop.
Mother Teresa in a Santa Claus outfit for no reason.
Who the heck is, wait, who's Mother Teresa again?
Sorry, not Mother Teresa.
I literally forgot.
Not Mother Teresa, Mary.
Oh, Mother Mary in a Santa Claus outfit.
Sure.
Okay, not gonna lie, that would actually be funny.
That would. Anyway. How is it dark?
Especially if you had a face. Like I just said, it has, okay, so chapter 1, it opens with the death of Alexander the Great.
As all great stories do.
Mm-hmm. And then it tells about how he divided his land into 12 parts.
Wait a minute, has Alexander even been referenced in the Bible before this? Or is it just like, okay, so Alexander the Great died. Who?
I'm not entirely sure, but I don't think so.
That's one of those words like, you better know about history to understand this reference.
I guess so.
This is like starting... like starting a book with... And then, okay, so the Chicago fires happened.
I mean, then again, think about this. Do you know who Sauron is at the beginning of Lord of the Rings?
I don't know. I never watched Lord of the Rings.
I mean, Lord of the Rings tells about the death of Sauron at the very beginning, so, like...
Fair enough. Okay, but...
Then again, Sauron is actually in that book, but anyways...
New Bible verse exists. New Bible verse. So, okay, so Wisconsin was founded. Everyone agrees that was a bad move.
So, yeah, it starts with the death of Alexander the Great. It tells about how he divides his land into 12 different pieces, and how every single one of the people he gave his land to was a complete a-hole.
Of course they were, because where's the Bible without some random asshole?
Right. See, his followers weren't so great.
Alexander the needs some work.
Yeah. So then we fast forward about 150 years.
As all good stories do. Okay, so we murdered Alexander the Great, but enough about that.
Yeah, actually it was more like 140 years, but anyways, yeah.
It was actually 147.
We move to the perspective of the Jews who are currently being tortured or slaughtered actively by their oppressors.
We moved to present day, 2,000 years ago. What?
Yeah, present-ish sort of day.
Wait,
the
Jews being slaughtered. Where have I heard this before?
Yeah, it's almost like someone took inspiration from this.
Oh no! Damn it, Kanye!
But unlike in the World War II version, in this one the Jews fight back and kick ass. But anyways, we'll get to that later. So yeah, it opens with the Greeks, I believe. That's what I'm not sure if it's still the Greeks, but basically the Macedonian Empire or whatever part of Alexander the Great. Basically, you got these guys that kind of just a-holes. They quite literally just slaughter all the children who have weird shaped penises. I'm not even making this up.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they slaughter all the children who have penises that are not the shape that they want them to be. Again, not making this up.
Is this why circumcision exists?
What's it?
Is this how circumcision was invented?
Basically the Jews invented circumcision.
For this reason, evidently.
No, like, basically they invented it beforehand, and they illegalized circumcision for some reason.
Probably for this reason.
No, like this was not the no. I'm saying the Jews made it beforehand, and the Empire, for some reason, made it illegal, so they started slaughtering anyone that circumcised their babies.
Let's just move on.
Are you still not getting what I'm saying?
No, I'm getting what you're saying. This is easier if we just move on, because we're just going to raise further questions at this point. It's better to move on to the next topic.
Anyways, yeah. So then they also slaughtered the mothers who circumcised their children, and so then a bunch of these guys. Let me see. I think the gentleman who we start with, his name is. I'm 99% sure it's Matthias, but I'm gonna look back just for a second. I'm looking this up because I only read this okay, yeah, it is Matthias. And he has 5 kids. Now, you don't really need to worry about all of them. You just need to worry mostly about 2 of them, Judas and Jonathan. Now, at this time, I don't know why, but I guess they were giving out surnames a little bit more frequently back then.
I guess.
So, the last... Oh, sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, I just said I guess. I know Judas and Jonathan from other Bible stuff.
They're not the same Judas and Jonathan.
Oh, then I guess it was a common name at the time. Well, Jonathan still is.
It was. They were common names. So basically, it was Jonathan, who was surnamed Apis, or Aphus, or I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that. And then, of course, the main man, Judas, whose surname just so happens to be Maccabeus. Now, if you people are paying attention at home, that's the same name as the book.
I wonder who the main character is.
I wonder as well, too. So, Matthias, their big old dad, decides that he's going to go off and form an army so they can fight back against these guys just killing people for no reason. And also, there was also a couple of other things where they basically desecrated their temples and, destroyed all their statues and all that stuff. And then they built their own versions of it and kind of just defiled pretty much every single aspect of their worship that they had. But again, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Was that?
For fun, I assume?
I guess, yeah. I'm not entirely sure why they did this, but it kind of just happens whenever you have generational power.
Yeah.
The kids just turn into assholes.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I don't think Alexander the Great ever did anything like this, but
anyway, moving on.
So, at a certain point, all the Jews out in Jerusalem decide, you know what? We're gonna be done with this. We give up. We're not gonna listen to anything they have to say. We're just gonna peacefully protest.
Oh, that always works. Now, is this 2020 peaceful protests, or is it actual peaceful protests?
It is actually peaceful protests. They just stand there. They do nothing.
They're just standing there, menacingly.
And so the Empire slaughtered them.
Of course they did. They weren't even doing anything. No, please stop. We should do something. Should we do something?
And so hearing that this peaceful protest didn't exactly work, Matthias says, okay, plan B, kick their asses. Everyone charge!
I honestly thought you were going to say, okay, plan B, we peacefully protest again.
No, Matthias was not stupid. So basically, Matthias dies within the 2nd chapter, and he leaves his son Judas in charge, who's, I would like to remind everyone, his last name is Maccabees.
Yeah, the main title of the book.
Main title of the book. And it's also titled First Maccabees, because there's 2 books.
It is kind of impressive how even back then, the idea of the father figure dying to pass on inspiration to the next generation was that common.
Mm-hmm.
That's how far back this trend goes.
This really doesn't feel like fiction because they're talking about Alexander the Great and stuff like that, but...
Yeah, because fiction would never bring in an actual person that actually existed in order for the sake of a story.
I mean, like one person maybe, but multiple. I don't know.
Anyway,
Especially if it was written at that time. But anyway, getting ahead of myself once again.
as we do.
So Judas begins his crusade,
Mm-hmm.
and boy, is he a badass.
Nice.
Like when you think Bible character, you don't think badass. You really generally don't. Like maybe you can think David, right? David and Goliath.
Yeah. I mean, when
But
I
you
think,
don't generally. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you
all I was
again.
gonna say was when I think Bible, I think two things: God, Jesus.
Right. But like, do you think of badass characters?
Not really. I mean, I can think of some Bible story characters, but I guess the most badass I know off the top of my head is David.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, you think David, but then again, like you don't exactly think that David is essentially doing this of his own power. He's not exactly a badass.
Well, no, he needed God's help for that stone.
Yeah. Judas Maccabee is a badass.
Mm-hmm.
He led an army of I think it was like 3,000, maybe 5,000. I can't remember the exact number, but they didn't have weapons and armor, and he kicked the ass of an army like 3 times bigger than theirs.
Oh wow, they just went in with a bunch of fists and laid waste.
And then they stole the armor and weapons from them.
What? That's stealing. That's illegal.
It's ours now because you hacked us.
I mean, self-defense.
Every single battle this dude's fighting, he's just getting stronger and stronger of an army. And he's just getting better and better at it. And like the dude, here's the thing: there's obviously like no shenanigans involved in this. It's all just them doing it, and they're just being guys out there.
I'm starting to see why this was never heard of before in the Bible. It doesn't sound very Christian.
Well, I mean, by a lot of people's standards, yeah, maybe. But I think it's just more like, wow, where was this? This is awesome.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't belong in the Bible. I'm just saying I see why you never heard of it till now.
Yeah, like some denominations think of it as like, it's not the Christian way, even though, like, technically speaking, I feel like they'd get more people involved if you were throwing stuff out like this, you know?
People like David and Goliath, so give them more war stories and maybe you'd get more followers.
Yeah, like, I'm not entirely sure what exactly happened in one part. Like, obviously, it didn't.
Yep, great. Hello? Internet? Come on. Friggin' heck. Can I leave and come back, maybe? What do I do here? Maybe I stop the stream and restart it. What do I do? I know. Friggin'. This is great. My Wi-Fi is great. I am messaging him. Oh my friggin' god, people leave me alone. What do you want, a medal? Maybe if I leave and come back, maybe that'll fix it. Wi-Fi. Just stop streaming.